Hey there, folks. This is Barry Muse, and I'm just going to be walking you through some of the new functions and features in Adobe's flagship application, Adobe Photoshop. So if you've been using Photoshop a while, you're probably fairly familiar with the overall interface and functions in the application. But a couple things might have changed in the latest and greatest versions. So one of the big ones that I want to start off with today is talking about the changes made to the Save As command feature. This is one that's thrown quite a few people for a loop over the past year and a bit. So I just want to walk you guys through this for starting. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to open up a document here. So as you're probably aware, when you're working in a Photoshop document, typically you're paying attention over here to your layers panel, working in either flattened versions if you're planning on saving these for web applications, or layered files if you're planning on coming back and working on this at a later date, picking up where you left off. So let's say if we were doing something where we were applying some basic adjustments. Let's say I want to go in and make some color changes here. So let's do a vibrance change, either increase the saturation or decrease the saturation here overall. Just some little tweak, doesn't really matter what, just to apply some sort of adjustment layer. So normally what you'd be used to here is under the File menu, you'll have your Save As feature. So if I choose Save As, and I would like to save this as, let's say, a JPEG or some other flattened version, right away you're going to notice, oh boy, I'm missing quite a few file formats. So this is a feature in the newest and latest, greatest versions. So the concept here that they're looking to sort of convey is that it knows you're working in a layered document immediately. It sees that there's more than one layer available, so it's saying, okay, you're going to be saving this as a working file. So it gives you these one of these four file formats that you have available. So the first option is the classic Photoshop.psd version. You also have this one, which is known as the large document format, PSB. You have Photoshop PDF, which is a tried, tested, and true method for saving rasterized PDF documents, also allowing to maintain layer structure. And then last but not least, the generic version, TIFF, which will allow you to open in pretty much any graphic application. So of course, these first two will require Adobe applications in order to open them, if you should save them as one of those two versions. So the issue here that's been confusing a lot of people is, where have all of the other formats gone? So this is where we have this option now that they've added called Save a Copy. So they've decided to allow us to have a button in here that's going to switch over to a different mode completely, which is Save a Copy. And you'll notice it immediately puts the word copy into the name of the file structure. And suddenly now we have all of our traditional file formats to save in. So the only issue here is that it is going to apply the word copy to the end of it. So it's sort of a fail-safe, so that it prevents you from possibly saving over your original document. But there's quite a few people that really are not happy about this change, and again, most of us are somewhat resistant to change. But this one I'm not a fan of, to be honest, either. But for those of you that aren't, I can show you a little workaround for this, which is going to be found under the preferences. So I'm just going to cancel out of here and show you under the edit menu under preferences. So this is of course on a Windows operating system. If you were on a Mac, this would be found under the Photoshop menu, preferences. And you're going to scroll down here to file handling. And under File Handling, up the top under File Saving Options, you have this lovely little checkbox here, Enable Legacy Save As, which will, as soon as I apply OK, allow me to go back to my traditional method of Save As. Regardless of whether I have layers or not, it will give me full access to all of the formats. So this is just a slight little change, like I said, that has been kind of confusing some people. and it's a nice little option to have in there, should you want to avoid that new Save As feature. Another little bonus thing here is if you look under the same thing under Preferences, once again, File Handling, there is an option here where you can choose to do not append the copy word to the file name when saving as a copy. So if you check that off, it will tell you will no longer append your file name, and you run the risk of accidental overwriting, and it tells you right there, we will not be responsible for loss of data, blah, blah, blah. So basically what you have is the option to save as the legacy method and not to append that copy option should you decide to leave this one on, one or the other.